At Buckingham Palace, the first official painted picture of King Charles III since his coronation has been exhibited. The enormous oil painting on canvas depicts a larger-than-life King Charles wearing a Welsh Guards outfit. The striking red piece, which measures approximately 8 feet 6 inches by 6 feet 6 inches, was painted by Jonathan Yeo, who has also painted Malala Yousafzai, Sir David Attenborough, and Tony Blair. After seeing the artwork, Queen Camilla is reported to have remarked to Yeo, "Yes, you've got him." The king is shown holding a sword in the new photo, and a butterfly has landed on his shoulder. Both the sitter and the artist experience some anxiety at unveilings, but it's more overwhelming when one of them is a king. Yeo jokes, "If this was seen as treasonous, I could literally pay for it with my head," which would be an appropriate way for a portrait painter to die, to have their head removed. Yeo won't lose his head, of course. In the present era, executions for a poorly received picture of a king are unheard of. Luckily, he has already received the endorsement of a significant royal person. During the last sitting, the Queen stopped by and remarked on how nicely the artist had depicted the king. Yeo claims that someone who knows your sitter well is the ideal person to appraise a portrait since they can tell right away whether it seems comfortable. Yeo claims that the king also saw it in a half-done state. The vibrant hues stunned him a little at first, but other than that, he appeared to be grinning broadly. It's a colorful artwork. In 1975, the king was promoted to regimental colonel in the Welsh Guards. The king's face stands out even more in the photo as the crimson of the uniform blends into the red background. Yeo claims that he intended the painting to be unique and a departure from the past. He had a specific goal in mind. "My interest is really in figuring out who someone is and trying to get that on a canvas." Yeo chose to incorporate certain elements of the royal portraiture tradition, the military uniform and the sword, for example, while also trying to go for a more contemporary look, especially with the rich color and the butterfly. Although he claims to be alluding to the custom of official royal portraits, he suggests this is something from the past, and what's interesting about them is something a bit different from that. Charles wanted to talk about the process of making the painting and the brushes that were used because he was interested in art. How he'd learned to paint and about some of the pictures on the walls were other topics of conversation. But Yeo says, there's a sanctity to the portrait process. Your sitters need to believe what goes on is between the two of you because that way I think they feel more comfortable about opening up. In the past, royal portraits have been crucial for conveying an image and denoting authority. They were among the instruments employed to guarantee the monarch's existence. Hans Holbein the Younger's Henry VIII is among the most unforgettable. Holbein was the court painter for the Tudor ruler. However, only 2 of his portraits have survived. But Yeo claims that since then, our perception of monarchy has changed. We are aware that they are actual persons with peculiarities and distinctive personalities. That many more of them have been observed. However, we still want to believe in the mysticism and fairy tale that they are different from us and possess some sort of magic. He was trying to figure out how to do both at once, in his image. This scale of portrait required quite an operation to paint, according to Yeo. He completed the most of his work between the 3rd and 4th sittings, having utilized his earlier sessions with the monarch for ideas and photos. The last time he visited the king, he had to rent a vehicle to deliver the canvas and his gear to Clarence House. They had to cover all the carpets in sheets so he didn't damage these priceless carpets, in addition to providing an easel, painting tables, and lighting. Yeo further provided a dais, a sort of platform, for me to stand on, so I was up high enough to paint his face and one for him to stand on so that he's on a level as well. The artist states that she had no interest in participating in the rigid formality of royal portraits in the past. However, he started to consider the idea that you have to see how you measure up against the works of the past as he approached his 50th birthday. The Draper's Business, a livery business based in the city of London that has been collecting royal pictures for generations, commissioned the image. His artwork, along with a dozen other fabulous, similarly huge portraits of Queen Victoria and various other kings and queens, will be shown at London's Draper's Hall. What does the butterfly symbolize? Let us explore the symbolic meaning of the butterfly. Butterfly symbolism represents transformation, hope, and life's endless possibilities. The caterpillar's earthbound existence symbolizes early life, while the cocoon phase represents contemplation and preparation for change, symbolizing the human soul's journey. The butterfly symbolizes liberation, perseverance, and transformative growth. It symbolizes hope, joy, and life's impermanence. The journey of the butterfly encourages optimism, renewal, and growth, reminding us to embrace change and soar through life's challenges. Our life's tapestry. In many cultures, butterflies represent the soul, especially its journey from the physical world to the spiritual realm. Their transformation symbolizes the soul's liberation from the confines of the physical body and its journey toward enlightenment and eternal peace. Butterflies are regarded as heavenly messengers in Mesoamerican traditions, including those of the Aztec and Maya. They symbolize metamorphosis, rebirth, and the soul's post-mortem journey, underscoring the close relationship between the divine and the earthly. Native American tribes hold the butterfly in high regard as a representation of transformation, development, and a link between the material and spiritual realms. It also symbolizes freedom, hope, and the capacity to rise above the material. Similarly, butterflies are revered in many African cultures as symbols of elegance, beauty, and transformation. They are also frequently connected to wealth, good fortune, and the smooth transition between this world and the next. Butterflies serve as a painful reminder of the cycle of life and death and the connection between the material and spiritual realms in Japanese culture, where they are believed to represent the souls of both the living and the dead. Despite their differences, these interpretations all center on spirituality and metamorphosis, highlighting the butterfly's importance in traversing both the here and the afterlife and deepening our comprehension of life's never-ending cycle of change and rebirth. In history of art, the butterfly symbolizes metamorphosis and rebirth, appropriate, he clarifies, for a picture being painted of a newly crowned ruler. The butterfly also alludes to the king's enduring fascination in the natural world and its causes. He has championed most of his life and certainly long before they became a mainstream conversation. Yo claims that when they discussed the chance to use the photo to construct a tale, Charles came up with the concept. I said, when school children are looking at this in 200 years and they're looking at the who's who of the monarchs, what clues can you give them? He said, what about a butterfly landing on my shoulder? Yo started work on the picture in June 2021 at Highgrove, while Charles was still the Prince of Wales. Jonathan Yo intended to focus more on expressing the spirit and character of Charles III, who he had 4 sittings with, beginning while he was still the Prince of Wales. The king had 4 sittings, lasting around 1 hour each, the last of which took place in November 2023 at Clarence House. Did the artist see any clear changes in the guy following his ascension to the throne? Yo says he's spotted a physical change in politicians he's painted in the past. They physically look and feel different when they're in high office or out of it. Yo adds the king had already been gaining presence and stature by the time I started it, and it went up a level again when he became king, as you'd expect. The sessions came to an end prior to the king's cancer diagnosis. Yo claims he didn't seem like someone who was physically exhausted, despite having a lot going on, including an imminent address at the COP summit. He was in good spirits, the painter adds. Every time, King Charles had to stand with his sword leaned on for almost 40 minutes while posing in full Welsh Guards regalia. He stood impressively still and didn't get distracted like some sitters do. Yo says Charles III is a very engaging person, with a great sense of humor, but he won't divulge anything about their conversations during sittings. Painting Charles III was not like most past projects, where you had to start from scratch for him. All my life I'd known who he was and what he looked like, so it was really just a case of deciding what to show and trying to slightly channel who he seems to be now. His intention was to allow people to connect with the human being underneath by purposefully minimizing visual distractions in his photograph. Yo continues, there's a lot of sympathy for the king. The painting reflects exactly who he is, everything he represents, and what he's been through. From May 16th to June 14th, the picture will be available for public viewing at the Philip Mould Gallery in London. Draper's Hall will have it on exhibit starting at the end of August. Butterflies symbolize endurance, transformation, and rebirth in the human soul. They represent personal growth, spiritual transformation, resilience, freedom, hope, and connection to nature. Their journey from caterpillar to majestic creature demonstrates the beauty of personal development and spiritual growth. Their connection to nature emphasizes harmony and the power of overcoming hardships. Butterflies symbolize rebirth, renewal, personal growth, and spiritual transformation, highlighting the importance of experiences and achieving higher consciousness. In the portrait, King Charles appears to be in what looks like flames or blood. Everything but his face is in red. What does this mean? Is this a sign of the end, or a sign of a new beginning? Has the British monarchy outlived its mandate, or are they still fit for purpose? Since the portrait was unveiled, the public has been speculating. Some say it portrays the monarchy's bloody past. Some say it shows the king in a lake of fire. Some say it's some sort of wizardry. What do you think?